I just wanted to first ask you, Senator, your reaction to the president coming here.
Well, it was it's very good. It's satisfying, and as I said, this is about my last hoorah. I'm 89, and so there won't be much left for me. But this is so important. The city is doing well. As the mayor says, it's not the biggest, but it's the brightest. And so we need leadership here. And we have them from over in Indiana coming across the river, all around Kentucky. We've put 115,000 students through the Ford Center. And with this fundraiser here, we'll have enough money left to carry it on after old Ford's gone. So I think it's really important, and people have really helped. It's just been magnificent the way. And then we underestimated his drawing ability. We're turning people away now with checks in hand. We don't have any more seats. They're out. They're gone.
Tell me about what students can see when they go to the Ford Center.
Well, what we do, we've got My Life Story, which tries to say if I can do it, you can do it, and it's serve to learn, learn to serve, that sort of thing, to make it nonpartisan. And they can go through there and see how you vote. There's some political statements about at the barber shop and all that sort of thing. And then we have a list around with the sound system over top of your little cubicle, and you just push a button and you can see, and they'll tell you about the legislation, how we did it, how we passed it, and that sort of thing. And so we go on around. We have the Electoral College, we have the Senate and the House going on, and there we have my old office. And then we have an area where General Breckinridge speaks, Alvin Barkley speaks, Abraham Lincoln speaks, all on the wall. So it's a pretty good. But then the meat of it is when boys and the professor, I call them Professor Ford's professors, they talk and teach to the kids, and it's just amazing to see how they eat it up. They absorb it. And so they're a little bit younger than you and I. Well, I am younger than you, and so these are junior and seniors in high school, and we want them to be interested in government. One, be for somebody. Go to work for government, run for office. We just want them to absorb the interest of the need for compromise, agreeable, get along, do the right thing. It's kind of tough in this day when you look at Washington and now Frankfurt.
Is Washington, I'm going to ask you a question about that now. Is Washington different now?
Oh yes, no question about it. It's all money. Yeah, it's raising money. McConnell's already raised almost $9 million, and his race is not till next year. Yeah. He spent $21 million the last time he ran. So people worry about, where you get the money, how do we get the money? The thing that disturbs me, my friend, is that when some nice fella goes down to political headquarters, says he wants to run for office, and he's got married and a couple of children in school. He's got a small business, and he's really interested in it. They don't ask him how he stands on education or things like that. They say, can you raise any money? Well, basically, no. So people are going to have to say to candidates, you don't have to have money. You have to have the right idea. You have to have the right courage. You have to have the right future in mind, and we'll support you. We'll be a committee of people that are going to work for you. And so until the local citizens do something like that, we're going to be couch potatoes watching television.
I want to ask
television not bad. You get your message over, but that doesn't bring the people to the polls like we ought to.
I want to ask you about your history with the president. I mean, you guys go way back.
Yeah, it's Brandon, now let me tell you this. 1938, that's a long time ago. I went from Thurston Elementary to Davis County High School. I went to agriculture class, it was one of them. It had the FFA club. We bought white-faced Herefords. We fed them and trained them and sold them. And then we went back again. But when I showed them, I couldn't get my calf doing it. I had a gentle, and we could handle it. It wasn't any trouble. But I couldn't get it to stand and do that sort of thing. So Mr. Tyree told me to buy a show cane. He was the teacher. So I did, $2.50. And that show cane was made in Hope, Arkansas. Think about that now. And Clinton came to Mount Sterling and spoke. It was raining cats and dogs, and we went into a store, empty store building downtown. And so, I got something going here. and back then he changed. Then Jefferson Jackson Day dinner in Kentucky, and then went to Washington, and we worked together. And he's a president that asks you to vote for something, and he told you why. Don't vote for it just because I'm president. I want you to vote for it because it'll do this for the country. This will do this for your children, that sort of thing. So he was not one that, the pressure was that he was asking you to do it and telling you why. And that persuaded you rather than the pressure from the White House. So it's great. I think just go back and look. I mean, I can drive around town here and show you the houses that were improved. The house that had a garage in the house, they make that a room, put a two-car garage behind. And all these things were done while he was president. Millions of new jobs, policemen on the street, more teachers, smaller classrooms, lower interest rates, surplus, paying off the debt. You know, it was a time that we all enjoyed. We enjoyed each other, and so, you know, I forget how many, 20 million jobs in 8 years. It was just something that was hard to believe, but it happened. It's there, and we can't refute it. So, and now we're in a crisis. It got us there because we had 2 wars. Instead of paying for it as we always have, we gave a tax break, and so we've been in the black hole ever since. And it's just going to take a lot of work, a lot of sweat and tears to get us out of it.
You think we'll ever get back to that?
Oh yes, we will at some point. There's some smart folks out there, and that's the reason we're trying to cultivate some of them here.
Yeah.
That will figure out a way. I'm sure you've got some ideas right now yourself, you know. And it's the thing is that you have to be able. There's a discussion and debate. When you and I are discussing something, we're trying to work it out. We're trying to compromise. Henry Clay said compromise is a negotiated hurt. You have to give up something that hurts. I do too. But you know, we're discussing it. Then the debate, then we've made up our minds and we have to go to the vote. And so what you do about discussion gets you to the point where you may not need as much debate. And you have to go across the aisle because Republicans have some good ideas, Democrats have some good ideas, and when you put them both together, it's good for the country.
While we're on this topic, are you watching the possible showdown between McConnell and Ashley Judd?
Well, I'm watching it from a distance, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. McConnell seems to be worried about it. He raised so much money. They've already started some spots against her, or some of his friends have started some spots against her. I think that helps her because it shows that he might be worried about her. I think there's maybe some other candidates out there that might be better with political experience and with some background. She's a smart woman, apparently, but she's in Tennessee. She went to Tennessee as a delegate, spoke at the convention for Tennessee. Her family, of course, is from Kentucky, the Judds, and I think the people are beginning to, it doesn't make much difference where you are or what you look like. It's what you say and what you stand for. And that is probably the key to future elections, at least I hope so.
I want to ask you too about you were over the inauguration ceremony.
Yes.
For Clinton. What was that like?
Oh, it's I was co-chairman for 2. I was there when Reagan called his off, his parade and everything, because of snow, and we had to reduce it to inside to the rotunda, and we went from 500,000 people to 700. And so it got pretty tight. It was pretty tough. I was there as co-chairman with Senator Mathias from Maryland. But you see, there's the legislative swearing in. That part of the inauguration is one thing, the Congress. The other is where they raise money, and that's where the big money is. Ours is maybe 500 to 700,000, and others 25 to 30 million. where they have all the balls and the parade and that sort of thing. So mine was that. And we started in August before the January swearing in, and checking around the world for terrorists. You know, it's like I say it now, but we had to watch. We watched all the airports. We watched all the ships and lines and that sort of thing. We were talking to other safety people in other countries. And then as we got down closer to it, we put in mega detectors. And they had, as far as pistols were concerned, we had a lot of foreign dignitaries come, and their bodyguards had pistols, and they wanted to come in with them. I wouldn't let them. I said, if there's going to be pistols inside, it's going to be ours, not theirs. We had more trouble with movie stars, with their bodyguards with pistols. You know, they didn't want to give them up. But we were strict but fair, I think, with them. And then we went to the luncheon, and we had to do that. And Brown Foreman in Louisville owned Linux, and they gave the Linux bowls to the president and vice president. And so it's been a tradition since then. So we started that. Mike Ruling, who is one of my best friends, he'll be here tomorrow night. He said, you know, we haven't seen, there's no place you can go and get all the speeches of the inauguration of the presidents. So he put together the book. We've got a book of speeches up through Clinton's first inauguration of all the speeches of all the inaugurations, all the presidents, from Roosevelt to Clinton. So it was pretty neat, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but and then we get into the ego part of it, where people want to sit closer to the president. Somebody wants to say with this and that sort of. I want tickets. I'm coming from Nova Scotia somewhere. So but it was the biggest problem was security. But everything else went reasonably well, and timing. He had to be sworn in at a certain time, and so the Marine band that played at every inauguration had a mirror. We had a mirror up there with the director, and he could see me and I could see him. And so if I would do this like that, well, he'd keep on playing. If I do this, we'd got to cut it off, you know. So we had our signals worked out, and it worked out very fine. And I'll tell you one thing, a little story. I got a call at 5 o'clock in the morning. I won't say which one it was, but anyhow, I got a call at 5 o'clock in the morning that we were in real trouble with the press, TV. We had a bad mistake. Said, you just got to get in here at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I dressed and got everything, and here I go. The cameras needed to be moved up 6 inches, and I had to move the podium back 6 inches, one or the other. And so it was easier to move the podium back. Well, I had the heat coming up in there. I didn't want my president to look like he was nervous making a speech, so I had the heat up there underneath it coming from inside, you know. So I had to change all that. So it worked. I got it done, but it was one of those little things that you
6 inches.
6 inches, yeah. So that's the way. And we had good TV from that, you know, and all that. So it worked out fine. Little things. Yeah. And George Bush, I was chairman of his, George first. Yeah, and he had Secret Service bring a note out to me thanking me for it. And so we've got it. And over here, I don't have it here, but when after the president after the inauguration, after sworn in, the Congress throws a luncheon for the president and vice president. And all the senators and the congressmen come to the dinner at the rotunda in the Capitol building. And so Clinton wrote to Mrs. Ford, said, this is my first lunch, first meal after being sworn in as president, and this is my first autograph. And he gave that to her. And then the next time, 4 years later, we were there doing the same thing. He said, this is number 2, signed Bill Clinton. And I've got them, we'll put them up down here where he had his picture. And Ms. Ford uses a needle for crocheting and things like that. And she made a throw for Mrs. Reagan and for Mrs. Clinton. And we have a picture of Mrs. Clinton receiving the throw from Ms. Ford, and she's in her bedroom with the colors and showing it all. So Ms. Ford she made over 300 baby blankets time we were in there because the wives had got together for Red Cross, they called it, and they didn't make patches or bandages anymore, and so she crocheted a little over 300 blankets for the hospital there, and so it was right neat.
Yeah.
Well, those little things that people don't really know. And
We see President Clinton just on TV.
Yeah.
You were behind the scenes with him. What is one thing that maybe people would be surprised to know about him?
Oh, I don't think there's anything surprising about him. He's soft-spoken. He's intense without being overbearing. He's articulate. Oh, he's and he's so knowledgeable, and he has a view of the future that few people have. And so those sort of things would be something that would be special about him. And he's just a good guy. Oh, he loves to be with you, and you back there, you smoke cigar and enjoy that, and so and he ate too many cheeseburgers. So, but he's right thin now. He's holding his weight down, and one of the things people have to understand, when he comes to a banquet, he doesn't eat. He doesn't eat. So he will be here tomorrow night. We'll have the he'll speak, and then we'll have the meal after he leaves.
Really?
Yeah. So it's.
Is that because of his diet?
I don't have a slight idea, but that's what he says, and that's the way we do it. And what he says, he gets,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, you were telling me a story about this here, about he even threw a little birthday party.
Oh, yeah. The leadership, I was part of the leadership in the Senate. I was second in line with the Democrats. And so we'd go up to his office ever so often up there at the conference table, and we talk about issues and things where we need to go and that sort of thing. And so went up there one day, it was my birthday. So I didn't realize that they even knew about it. So he turned around, he said, Senator Ford said, how old are you? I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I told him. And he said, well, we couldn't find a cake that was big enough to hold all those candles, so this will have to do. And out came the chocolate cake with candles on it, and that's a picture of me blowing out the candles.
Yeah.
And he got a big kick out of saying we didn't have a cake big enough to put all the candles on. Now I'm 89. He couldn't get all the candles on it for sure now. But no, he was just that kind of guy. And his wife was very helpful. She was, Hillary Clinton is a smart lady. She understands like he does, I think, at least dealing with me. I didn't like her health bill, but that was probably better than the one we have now. But at that time, it was $1 on a pack of cigarettes. When they dropped it to 75 cents, and representing Kentucky, that was terrible. That was terrible. So, but anyhow.
You think she might make a good president one day?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I would approve of something like that because I know how smart she is. You take Martha Lane Collins. She was the only female governor we've had, but look at Toyota. And she was the one that brought them in. She had about 130 million to work with, and Ohio had 650 million to work with, and she still was able to attract Toyota to Kentucky instead of Ohio. Yeah. So, you got to give them credit. And Martha Lane did a fine job. I guess there's 14,000 employees there. And so Toyota does very well. Yeah. And their Toyota International or National is in Northern Kentucky, their home office, Oh yeah. So Toyota's pretty important to us. And by the way, Moonlight Barbecue catered the picnic for all the employees. Oh yeah, did it maybe twice. So this there's a lot of things going on that people don't understand, don't care about, but others could do, and so you just play it the best way you can.
Yeah. Do you get to speak to Mr. Clinton very often?
No, not very often. He was here, when he was campaigning for his wife. He was here, and we won one of the 4 national educational awards, and he flew in here and presented that to
And that's when he was president, right?
Oh yeah. He was
It was Audubon Elementary, I think.
Yeah, Audubon Elementary, and so and then now this is his third time. Maybe there was one other time. I'm not sure, but it might have been.
So he likes Owensboro a lot.
Oh well, I think that he said to what Joe Biden, you know, his brother married a girl from Owensboro.
I didn't know.
Yeah, a Jones girl, and she worked for me.
Really?
Yeah, and so but his brother Jim and her the Jones girl, and that's Wendy Holla Jones, Jack Jones's daughter, and Joe stayed out there when they had the wedding down here. Yeah. See, he said it was great. Said he sat under the tree. The wind was going. It wasn't too hot, and he read a lot. And he said he just really enjoyed it. So it was worked out fine.